Hi, I'm Connor Shaw.
And I'm Channing Peeples.
And this is your AHS News for Monday, December 15th.
For today's lunch, we will have chicken nuggets, and tomorrow we will have lasagna.
Today's weather is looking partly cloudy with a high of 21 and a low of 4. And tomorrow will be partly cloudy as well as a high of 33 and a low of 19. Student
Council is doing a raffle this week. You can scan this QR code for a chance to win some prizes. There will be different prizes each day. See our Instagram at AHS.TribeCast for more info.
This week is finals week. Here on the screen the final schedule. Oh, that is all we have for today. Before we head over to our daily playbook for today, we are going to head over to Ethan Gibbs with an interview from Jeremy Johnson.
Hej, kulumosimo hutch, dalawan sila po yung kitatan ni Lenape, Shanu, Akpeoli, Nililendam, Eli, Paekwa. Hello, my name is Jeremy Johnson. I am Lenape, Delaware, and I said I am happy because you all are here.
The Lenape Delaware tribe, now in 6 nations across North America, started in northern Delaware and lived there for over 16,000 years. The community spread apart after a number of forced removals and treaties due to European colonizers.
And once we had contact with European colonizers, we were eventually forced to move out of those areas, and by treaties and things of that nature. And which divided our communities, and so now we have our community, our tribe, the Delaware Tribe of Indians in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, the Delaware Nation, which is in Anadarko, Oklahoma, the Stockbridge-Muncie community in Bowler, Wisconsin, and we also have 3 Canadian Lenape communities, all in Ontario, Canada. So we now exist in 6 different Lenape nations throughout the United States and Canada.
Here, Johnson goes into what he does for his tribe and what he teaches.
Yeah, as a cultural education director, I have to consult and collaborate and teach on anything that has to deal with Lenape culture. So that is a very broad description of what I do.
Johnson's biggest role is teaching and hosting classes for tribal citizens where he might teach about cultural crafts like moccasins and regalia. He also teaches history about his community and their forced removals in order to preserve their ancestry for generations to come.
We try to get our community involved, our tribal citizens who know how to do these things, how to make certain things, certain clothing items, teach certain dances and different songs as well.
Speaking on that, do you have any struggles or challenges when it comes to keeping those traditions alive and keeping that history there?
Actually, yeah, there have been many struggles throughout the years. We talk about the forced removals, okay? And I know I keep saying that, but it's such a large part of our history that whenever you're removed from someplace, it is a complete disruption of your life ways.
When European colonizers came upon their land, they forced the removal of those tribes so they could take it for themselves. Through these removals, the tribe's lives were completely disrupted and traditions and culture are unfortunately lost. Johnson goes on to elaborate.
And so we also have these other expectations and responsibilities. You know, we're expected to go to our job, we're expected to raise our families, we're expected to do these things, so we can't just focus on what it means to be Lenape or Delaware. And so that becomes a big point of difficulty in trying to get people to be interested in doing these things because it's extra, you know. It's extra to have to go do these tribal events.
What do you find in your job that's most rewarding?
That's a good question. What do I find in my job that's most rewarding? What I do find is whenever we have tribal citizens who have not been involved coming back and learning things, or when something connects with them and you see that light bulb come on and they say, oh, that's like my grandmother said, now it makes sense, something like that. I also feel very accomplished in basically when our Lenape histories and culture are represented authentically and accurately, that's a huge step because there's so much misinformation about who we are. There's so much, still overcoming a lot of stereotypes when it comes to Native American cultures.
Is there anything you want to know, like you want younger generations like me to know that we might not know already?
Yeah, you know, the younger generation always surprises me. Whenever I talk about what would I like you guys to understand is to continue looking into whenever you have questions. You know, I noticed that about this generation. I'm not just going to accept something. I want to question and figure out why. And look, and now you have to go through all the different things of looking at what is AI and what isn't, and all these other things. You know, it's better to hear something from someone from those nations, in my opinion, than it is to maybe read a book or a website or something like that written about them by someone who's not part of them.
In 2021, Anderson High School went under serious controversy due to a pregame chief and maiden ritual dance. After this, Anderson High School chose to consult with Native American leaders about the use of Indians as their school mascot. Johnson explains some of the conversations they had with AHS in the past in relation to the mascot.
Dealing specifically with Anderson, we had a lot of conversations about what would we like to see happen. You know, we were other people concerned, and we had those discussions amongst ourselves. And then we reached out to the superintendent of the schools, and we had conversations. That was the thing. It wasn't what we call a knee-jerk reaction. You know, we weren't just, oh, we're angry. No, we thought, how do we help to best represent who we are as Delaware Peoples, as Lenape Peoples, because we felt it was not a good representation of who we are. So this has been very fruitful in that way. So oftentimes I feel like the best outcome from something like this is, from these conflicts, is to move forward and educate and learn more about each other. But we are in talks. We're discussing with the people who can make those decisions. I have to talk to my chief and my council and decide what it is that we would like to see, because we would definitely love to have some sort of representation of our tribal nation and Chief Anderson and that history in a good, respectful way and accurate and authentic, So that's something that we are looking forward to doing.
Thank you, and that was Jeremy Johnson from the Lenape Tribe in his interview with TribeCast. I'm Ethan Gibbs, and I'm signing off.
Thank you, Ethan. I'm Rayleigh, here with your daily playbook. First, tonight, our boys freshman basketball team will be playing away at Noblesville High School starting at 6 p.m. And second, our girls JV and varsity basketball teams will be playing here at home against Warren Central High School, with JV starting at 6 and varsity following. Now that is all I have for your daily playbook. Be sure to come out and support your Indians. Now always remember, forever proud, forever strong.